Mid-7th century. After a crushing defeat at Yarmouk in 636, the Byzantine Empire hastily withdrew most of its remaining troops from the Levant to Asia Minor. The fact is that Anatolia was protected from the expansion of the Arab army by the Taurus Mountains, which the Byzantine emperor decided to take advantage of. Nevertheless, already in 640, Arab troops began to raid the territory of the Byzantine Empire in the Cilicia region. These raids were led by the governor of the Levant, Muawiyah Abu Sufyan, under whose command in just a few years the Arab Caliphate managed to create its own fleet, which was soon able to fight on equal terms with the Byzantine one. The raids of Arab troops and the Arab fleet continued until 656, when a civil war began on the territory of the Arab Caliphate. Since Muawiyah Abu Sufyan actively fought for power over the Arab Caliphate during the civil war, he hastened to conclude a truce with the Byzantine Empire and even undertook to pay tribute to the Byzantine emperor. However, the peace between the Arab Caliphate and the Byzantine Empire did not last long. As soon as Muawiyah Abu Sufyan won a victory in 661, he immediately refused to continue paying tribute to the Byzantine emperor, and Arab troops began to raid the territory of the Byzantine Empire again. The fact that the troops of the Arab Caliphate began to act much more confidently deserves special mention, since they not only raided deep into the Byzantine Empire, but also remained outside its territory for the winter. Also, the Arab fleet began to ravage the coast of Anatolia with renewed vigor. Nevertheless, the Arab Caliphate refrained from a full-fledged invasion of the Byzantine Empire until 668, since Muawiyah I was simply waiting for the right moment to begin large-scale hostilities. This moment came in 668, when the strategist of the theme Armeniac Saborios rebelled against the Byzantine Emperor Constantine IV. Muawiyah I decided to take advantage of the situation to weaken the Byzantine Empire, so he immediately supported the strategist Saborios. Understanding full well that Saborios clearly did not have enough strength to defeat Constantine IV, Muawiyah I sent an army to his aid under the command of Fadlallah Ubaida. Muawiyah I's plan was reliable and effective, but chance intervened. While the Arab army was on the way, Saborios fell from his horse and died suddenly. Thus, when the Arab army invaded the territory of the Byzantine Empire, Saborios's rebellion died out due to the sudden death of its leader. Despite the unexpected turn of events, Muawiyah I decided not to give up. He ordered Fadlallah Ubaida to wait for reinforcements, overwintering in the vicinity of Melitene, in order to then begin an offensive deep into the Byzantine Empire. In the spring of 669, having received reinforcements, the army of Fadlallah Ubaida began moving deep into the territory of the Byzantine Empire. Without meeting any serious resistance along the way, the Arab army quickly moved forward, without being distracted by sieges of protected cities. With a rapid march, the army of the Arab Caliphate reached the outskirts of the city of Chalcedon, which was located on the Asian shore of the Bosphorus. Thus, the Arab army found itself not far from the capital of the Byzantine Empire, Constantinople. In this situation, the emperor was forced to act immediately. Having sent reinforcements to the defenders of Chalcedon, Constantine IV began hastily gathering forces to oust the enemy from his territory. Meanwhile, the Arab army tried to take Chalcedon by storm, but thanks to the fierce resistance of the city's defenders, all attempts to storm ended in failure. The situation was aggravated by the fact that the Arab soldiers suffered from hunger and disease, which ultimately had a negative impact on the overall combat effectiveness of the army. Realizing that the forces were clearly not enough to capture the city, Muawiyah sent reinforcements to Fadlallah Ubaida, led by his son Yazid. Soon the Second Arab Army reached the outskirts of Chalcedon, but nevertheless, even the overwhelming numerical advantage did not allow the Arabs to break the resistance of the city's defenders. In other matters, the Byzantine emperor was also in no hurry to enter into open confrontation with the Arab army, but focused on accumulating forces. For the sake of fairness, it should be mentioned that the Byzantine Empire faced serious difficulties in collecting an army, since the Byzantine army at that moment was ensuring the protection of its territories from the Slavs in the Balkans and the Lombards on the Apennine Peninsula. Meanwhile, hunger and disease seriously weakened the Arab army, and the defenders of Chalcedon, putting up fierce resistance, repulsed all attempts to storm. In this situation, Yazid, who led the Arab army, decided to lift the siege and return to his territory. The retreating Arab army captured the city of Amorium located in the center of Anatolia, where it placed its own garrison. The fact is that Yazid planned to use the captured city as a springboard for a new offensive on Constantinople, after gathering additional forces. However, the Byzantine emperor also did not sit idly by. As soon as the Arab army left the territory of the Byzantine Empire, Byzantine troops immediately attacked the city of Amorium and captured it as a result of the assault and destroyed the Arab garrison located in it. Upon learning that the Byzantine army had regained control of the city of Amorium, Muawiyah I realized that by advancing again through Anatolia, the Arab army would suffer serious losses along the way, so he decided to change the plan of attack on Constantinople. As part of the new plan for the attack on Constantinople, the main role was given to the fleet, so Muawiyah was the first to focus on strengthening his fleet. The efforts made yielded results, and very soon the Arab fleet was able to cause serious damage to the economy of the Byzantine Empire by robbing merchant ships. The growth in the power of the Arab fleet did not go unnoticed by the Byzantine emperor, who also tried to strengthen his own fleet, planning with its help to protect trade routes from attacks. The fact that shortly before the events described, the Byzantine fleet included ships adapted to use a special incendiary substance, which was called Greek fire, deserves special mention. It was this new weapon that the Byzantine emperor planned to use to fight the Arab fleet. Meanwhile, the Arabs were preparing for the upcoming attack on Constantinople from the sea. In 673, having landed on the coast, the army of the Arab Caliphate managed to establish control over the city of Tarsus. Since the Byzantine emperor did not have free forces to interfere with the Arab fleet, the Arab Caliphate continued its expansion and was soon able to capture the island of Rhodes, which was located halfway between Syria and Constantinople and, according to the idea of Muawiyah I, it was supposed to serve as a forward supply base, during an attack on the capital of the Byzantine Empire. Since the Byzantines could try to regain control of Rhodes, a large garrison was left on the island, which was supposed to provide its protection in the event of an invasion. The Arab Caliphate completed preparations for an attack on the capital of the Byzantine Empire only in 674, organizing supply bases on the way to Constantinople. After all preparations were completed, the Arab fleet set out on the campaign. Quickly crossing the Aegean Sea, the fleet of the Arab Caliphate entered the Sea of Marmara and immediately began to implement the previously drawn-up plan, which involved a blockade of Constantinople from land and sea. To blockade the capital of the Byzantine Empire from land, the Arab fleet landed troops near the city of Hebdomon, located south of Constantinople. The Arab troops failed to take the city by storm using the effect of surprise, largely due to the resilience of the local garrison. Soon Byzantine troops reached the outskirts of the city, which significantly strengthened its garrison. Clashes between Arab and Byzantine troops in the vicinity of the city of Hebdomon continued from April to September, but did not bring the Arabs the desired result. While the Arab troops landed on the coast tried to break through the enemy's defenses to block Constantinople from land, the Arab fleet advanced to the outskirts of the city to block it from the sea. It was here that the Arabs received a very unpleasant surprise in the form of Greek fire. Realizing that they had a numerical advantage on their side, the Arab fleet quickly attacked the enemy ships in order to inflict a crushing defeat on the Byzantine fleet and organize a blockade of the city from the sea. At the very beginning of the naval battle, the Arab ships were attacked by Greek fire, which came as a serious surprise to them. Some Arab ships caught fire after being attacked by Greek fire, forcing the Arab fleet to abandon the vicinity of Constantinople. Retreating, the Arab fleet took the troops that had previously landed in the vicinity of the city of Hebdomon, and then sailed towards the peninsula of Cyzicus, where the Arabs set up camp. It should be mentioned that despite the victory in the first clash, the Byzantine fleet was in the minority and was therefore afraid to move far from the walls of Constantinople. It became obvious that the plan to attack Constantinople had failed. Despite this, the Arabs made several attempts to blockade the capital of the Byzantine Empire from the sea. All these attempts did not bring the desired result, since time after time, with the help of Greek fire, Byzantine ships drove the enemy fleet away from the walls of Constantinople and forced them to return to the camp on the peninsula of Cyzicus. Nevertheless, the Arabs were in no hurry to abandon their plans to capture Constantinople and did not leave their camp on the peninsula of Cyzicus. Unfortunately, it is impossible to say exactly what the Arab fleet and army were waiting for. Of course, there is a possibility that the Arabs were waiting for additional forces to once again try to blockade Constantinople. At this time, the Byzantine Empire began to experience additional difficulties, as the Lombards launched a massive attack in Calabria and Slavic tribes in the Balkans attacked Thessaloniki. In the current situation, the emperor could not allow the presence of an enemy army and navy in the vicinity of his capital and was forced to act. At the beginning of 678, the emperor ordered his fleet to attack the enemy in order to drive him out of the Sea of Marmara. Having gathered all their forces into a fist, the Byzantine fleet moved towards the peninsula of Cyzicus where the Arab fleet was located. It should be mentioned that for a long time in the waters of the Sea of Marmara, the Arab fleet lost its vigilance, which is why the Arabs learned late about the approach of the enemy fleet. The attack of the Byzantine fleet came as a complete surprise to the Arabs, but nevertheless they quickly began to form battle formations to try not only to push back the enemy, but also to defeat him. According to contemporaries, the outcome of the battle was decided by the massive use of Greek fire by the Byzantine fleet. Even though the Arabs had already encountered these weapons, they had not yet figured out how to competently counteract them. That is why, already at the beginning of the battle, many Arab ships were engulfed in fire, which, of course, allowed them to act effectively. Since the Arabs did not have effective means of countering Greek fire, very soon their battle formations were destroyed and they lost the ability to resist. In turn, the Byzantine fleet acted as coherently as possible, which allowed it to inflict serious damage on the enemy fleet and force it to leave the Sea of Marmara. Despite the fact that the first siege of Constantinople turned out to be extremely unsuccessful for the Arab Caliphate, they did not intend to abandon their plans to conquer the Byzantine capital. However, the Second Civil War in the Arab Caliphate temporarily postponed a new attempt to capture Constantinople. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell so you don't miss new videos.